You feel it, don't you? That quiet, persistent ache in your soul every time you try to fit into a world that doesn't feel like yours. You show up, you smile, you try to blend in, but deep down, something whispers, this isn't the life you were meant to live. If that voice is growing louder, this video isn't just for you, it's about you. What if I told you that the reason you can't settle into the ordinary is because you were never made to be ordinary? What if God has been trying to show you a completely different way, a way that has nothing to do with resumes, promotions, or performance reviews? A way that isn't found in job titles, but in purpose, in calling, in divine alignment. You didn't stumble upon this message, you were led here, because the time has come. The world is shifting. The old systems are falling apart. The doors that used to open so easily now remain shut, not to punish you, but to protect you. You are the chosen, and this isn't just a motivational message, this is a prophetic activation. So let's begin. Some people are built for systems, for stability, for structures that are already in place, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then there are the others, the ones who don't fit, not because they're broken, but because they were born for something else. The ones who struggle in the 9-to-5 world, not because they're lazy or lost, but because their soul refuses to shrink into what the world calls normal. If that's you, then you've probably heard it all before. Just get a job, be responsible, stop dreaming. But the more you try to silence your spirit, the more restless you become. That's because you were not created for survival. You were created for assignment. You weren't meant to chase paychecks. You were meant to walk in purpose. This is why your old way of life feels like it's falling apart. This is why the doors keep closing. It's not a coincidence. It's a divine disruption. God is not letting you go back to Egypt. He's calling you out of the systems of man and into the guidance of spirit. You're not being rejected. You're being redirected. Let's go deeper. There's something sacred about seasons of frustration. When everything you try just doesn't work anymore. That's not failure. That's a signal. God is transitioning you from labor to legacy, from hustle to healing, from striving to surrender. Remember Moses? He was raised in Pharaoh's palace. He had access to the highest levels of status and power. But when the time came, God didn't call him to become a better Egyptian. He called him to leave Egypt altogether. And that journey required one thing first: disillusionment. Before God shows you your purpose, he'll often let everything else fall apart. The job that made sense, the career path that looked good on paper, the relationships that were convenient. He'll strip it all away, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because the truth is, you can't carry out a heavenly calling while clinging to earthly expectations. You may feel like you're stuck right now, but let me tell you, this is not the end. This is the in-between, the wilderness. And while it feels like you're lost, you're actually being found. This is the space where God does his deepest work, where he rewrites your identity, reconfigures your path, and reignites your gift. Stop trying to go back to what you've outgrown. That version of you that needed external validation, that chased the approval of bosses, that settled for jobs just to survive, that version is gone. Let it die, because only then can your true self rise. You're not just unemployed, you're being reassigned. You know how a caterpillar goes into the cocoon? From the outside it looks like nothing is happening, but on the inside it's dissolving. Literally, every structure it once had melts into chaos. That's what it feels like when God is transitioning you. Confusion, loss, darkness. But it's all part of the design, because you're not going to emerge as a better caterpillar. You're going to emerge as something entirely different, a creature that was born to fly. The job system was your cocoon, necessary for a season, but no longer your home. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. Not everyone is supposed to work a job. Not everyone is designed to clock in and clock out. Some people are born to build, to create, to heal, to speak, to lead, to disrupt. And those people will never thrive in a cage, no matter how pretty it looks. You're one of them. Let me ask you something. What if the very things you've been running from, your passions, your weird interests, your unusual ideas, were actually the map to your mission? What if the resistance you felt all your life wasn't a flaw, but a fingerprint of your purpose? God hides callings in discomfort. and he often speaks loudest through what doesn't work anymore. So instead of asking, why isn't this working, maybe the better question is, what is this trying to teach me? Because once you realize that you were never meant to follow the herd, you'll stop waiting for the shepherds of this world to give you permission to move. The call is already in you. The only question now is, are you ready to answer it? You see, when you stop chasing what the world told you to want, that's when you finally start hearing what your soul has been trying to say all along. The job wasn't the goal. The title wasn't the destination. They were placeholders, temporary assignments to sustain you while something eternal was being formed within you. It's time to unlearn the lie that productivity equals purpose. You are not your output. You are not your resume. You are not your hustle. You are a vessel of divine intelligence, chosen for a mission that cannot be measured by worldly metrics. And the moment you stop outsourcing your identity to systems that don't recognize your worth, that's the moment your real life begins. Let's be honest. The systems of this world are not built for everyone. They reward conformity, not creativity, obedience, not originality, predictability, not prophetic insight. But you weren't born to be safe. You were born to be set apart. That discomfort you feel every time you sit in front of a computer doing work that drains you, that's not laziness. That's your soul refusing to betray itself. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something right with you that no one else around you understands. You've probably been told you're too much, too intense, too sensitive, too idealistic, but what they call too much is exactly what God calls just right for the assignment He's placed on your life. People who are meant to lead often feel out of place in environments that reward silence. Prophets never feel at home in palaces, and dreamers always look crazy until the dream comes true. God doesn't choose the obvious, He chooses the overlooked, the misfits, the ones who have been through too much to pretend anymore. And that's you. You've been tried. You've been tested. You've survived what others would have drowned in. And yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still searching. That's not weakness. That's evidence that something divine refuses to let you give up. It's not that the world hasn't offered you a seat at the table. It's that your table hasn't been built yet, because you're not just meant to eat, you're meant to feed others. Let's shift the question now. Instead of asking, what job should I get? Ask, what assignment have I been given? Instead of wondering, why can't I settle down like everyone else? Ask, what am I being called to shake up? Your restlessness is sacred. Don't numb it. Don't medicate it. Don't silence it. Listen to it. It's a compass. It's your inner GPS rerouting you every time you try to settle for less than what you were made for. And yes, stepping into your calling is terrifying because it's not laid out like a career path. There's no guaranteed salary, no retirement plan. Just you, your faith, your gift, and the God who gave it to you. But let me remind you, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll wait forever. If you're waiting for the world to understand you, you'll be stuck in silence. You weren't born to be understood. You were born to transform. This is where many people get stuck. The space between what's ending and what's beginning. It feels like free fall, like the ground has been ripped out from under you, and that's because it has. But not to destroy you, to teach you how to fly. In this sacred space, trust becomes your foundation. Not a paycheck, not a contract, not a company, but trust in yourself and in the one who created you. Trust that your gift will make room for you. Trust that the right opportunities will come when you're aligned. Trust that the same God who gave you the vision will also provide the provision. You don't need to chase anymore. You just need to align. Let me speak to your heart right now. You are not lazy. You are not crazy. You are not failing. You are evolving. You are shedding the skin of who you were taught to be so you can become who you were born to be. And yes, it's painful. Yes, it's lonely, but it's also holy. There is a reason you've been rejected. There is a reason the old doors won't open. There is a reason nothing makes sense, because something higher is trying to be born through you. A new chapter, a new purpose, a new way of living that doesn't depend on validation from systems you were never meant to belong to. You're not jobless. You're limitless. Think about this. Every major shift in the Bible began with a disruption. Abraham had to leave his father's house. Joseph was thrown into a pit. David was anointed long before he was appointed. Jesus spent 30 years in obscurity before stepping into his public calling. Don't despise your hidden season. Don't curse your confusion. This is sacred preparation. God hides his best vessels until the world is ready for what they carry. You are one of those vessels. So what now? First, stop asking for permission. You already have it. Second, stop trying to be understood. You're not here to be relatable. You're here to be revolutionary. Third, start moving. Start building. Start creating. Even if it's small, even if no one sees it. Especially if no one sees it. Because that's how God works. He watches what you do in the dark before he brings you into the light. You're not lost. You're being positioned. You're not behind. You're being built. You're not forgotten. You're being hidden. For now. But soon the world will see what God already knows. That you were never here to work a job. You were here to fulfill a purpose.